Hey guys, UFC 305 post fight, immediate aftermath reaction. Didn't go the way I thought. Um, Weird fight. Very much like I felt like to start the rounds. All the rounds kind of played out the same. Um, Izzy started the rounds really well, looking sharp. Didn't connect upstairs as much as I would have thought, and on the counter, on the front foot, the teep was landing really well, like spearing Drickus in the chest for Izzy. Rounds 3 and 4, especially, he was really finding a home for those body hooks. Didn't land upstairs as well as I would have thought. Going for the uppercut a lot on Drickus, which makes sense because he leans forward with that high guard, kind of like early career Gaethje. Wasn't really able to find a home for it too well. Drickus dragged him down pretty well. He wasn't really able to control Izzy on the mat, which I kind of expected. Izzy's takedown defense is pretty good. Like, I figured Drickus would get him down. I didn't think Drickus would be able to keep him down. Drickus got to the back better than I would have thought. He showed some of that in the fights against like Tavares and Till. Drickus had one really good sequence on the fence in I think the third or fourth round, which was very reminiscent of that Till fight. You know, really smacked Izzy's head up with an uppercut there. The pressure, I think it was just the pressure. Izzy was doing way better when he was the one moving forward. He was on the front foot. When Drickus started to land some of those, Drickus must hit hard as hell. For a guy who doesn't really knock anybody out clean, he must just thump. He really is like a thumping guy because Izzy looked like Izzy's best round was probably like the first half of the third round. Um, and the numbers were in favor of Izzy big time. I don't really buy into the numbers too much though. You see what you watched. Sometimes I find if you go back and watch a fight like slow motion, the numbers can be pretty inaccurate. I distinctly remember when I rewatched Izzy and Jan Blachowicz. Izzy was like landing a lot of strikes, not like by the numbers. And then when I watched it at like half speed, Jan was parrying a lot of shots. And like the smacking sound that sounded live like Izzy landing was Jan like palming them down. I don't buy into the numbers too much. Round one, super close. Round two, Izzy had his best sequence. It looked like he had Drickus super hurt, but then Drickus kind of like almost looked like it was a knockdown, but he like managed to ankle pick Izzy, and then you got to give Drickus round two because he had probably the most control time there. There was also that weird like phantom tap from Izzy. Um, Izzy definitely thought about tapping, and just like against Till, like quick tap in the fourth there. Like Drickus must have a hell of a squeeze. I think it was the pressure. Drickus, he looks really weird striking, but he's got to be just strong as an ox and pretty good gas tank. Even though he looked super gassed in this fight, he looked way more tired than he did in the Strickland fight. Maybe because he was moving back at some points. He was also wrestling more, probably expended more energy. Izzy looked tired as hell too. In terms of the narrative of this fight, the emotion that Izzy brought into it, Izzy looked super tired too. They both looked super gassed by like the third, fourth round. Drickus kind of exhausts himself as a product of his own style. He kind of reminds me of like Alexander Gustafsson in that way where, you can be in great shape, but the demands of your style and your game plan mean that you're just going to get tired as fuck. Kind of like even Dom Cruz at 35. And obviously, it's a lot easier for those smaller guys to have the higher activity levels, but like Cruz, perpetual motion machine. It just seemed to be the pressure, really. Izzy couldn't get comfortable. Dricus was in his face, weird movements. He closes distance really fast. He's obviously an explosive guy, even though his striking looks slow and labored. The combination of his like shifting footwork, his physicality, his like presence. Izzy looked way better at the start of pretty much each round, probably when he was a little bit fresher. The tail end of each round pretty much favored Dricus. I think I had Dricus winning the first round, close first round. Izzy landing the better shots, but live, I think I gave it to Dricus on mostly those left body kicks. He has a pretty good step up left kick to the body. Round 2, you got to give it to Dricus on the control time, even though Izzy seemed to hurt him pretty bad like midway through. Round 3, probably an Izzy round, but the body language in the second half of the round didn't look good. He was starting to stagger and stumble and move backwards. And then round 4, obviously the finish. And Izzy looked great to start round 4 as well, you know. Dricus is weirdly good. He's good, but he looks bad. You know, he's a weird champion. Middleweight's a weird division. I think in a sense it's fitting. Middleweight's always had weird fighters and weird styles. And it kind of seems like the dad division. Like, Dricus, like the way he strikes, he looks like he'd be like a hobbyist at your local gym. But the guy's physical. He really is a sledgehammer. He seems to just pound away until, you know, whatever he's hitting starts to crack. And Izzy cracked. One of my good buddies, shout out to Josh. He was right again. Pisses me off. Didn't lie. I was watching in the bar with a couple buddies and I said, I'm going to have to leave the group chat. You know, after this. God damn. And I'm getting notifications as we speak. But I know they're from Josh, just gloating. So, hats off to Dricus. Too awkward, too much pressure, too much physicality. Got the job done.